starting off, I remember seeing in the documentary Best Worst Movie, I think it was your parents who mentioned that you had an interest in acting at a young age. What was it you got involved with specifically, whether it was in high school or college, that sort of triggered that interest?
Yeah, well, I really think as a child I was always a ham and I loved, joking around and kind of the comedian up in a crowd from the time I was about, oh my gosh, I can always remember really.
Sure.
And yeah, so I was in a few high school plays, and I had a drama teacher that really encouraged me to do things on stage, and so I did a little bit of stage acting, and then that kind of segued into I was a college cheerleader at Auburn University, and so we were always doing skits and always in front of a crowd.
Great.
I enjoyed that so much. Yeah, and I think my first exposure to national TV was when I was in the Jerry Lewis Telethon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was kind of fun that I was able to, do that and be a part of that and see how things were put together way back then at the Sands Hotel, way a long time ago in 1975, I think. And I met the producer of Chips, and
wow.
You need to be in film. I would have chosen you if you had, auditioned with us, is what he told me. And I thought, well, you know what, so anyway, I did the Auburn thing and went straight into dental school and did the 4 years of dentistry and then, went out to Salt Lake to do some postdoctorate work. And at that time, one of my patients said, why don't you go up and audition for a movie up in Park City? And I just kind of laughed it off and said, oh, what the heck, why not? I went up there, and sure enough, I get the lead role in this B-rated horror film, not knowing anything about what it's about.
And when you were practicing out in Salt Lake City, as you said, it wasn't a case where, you had like agent representation. It was literally just a patient had said, hey, there's this movie out, on the outskirts of Salt Lake City. Maybe you should go audition for it. And that's how you ultimately got up there and got the part. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, yeah. Correct.
Now, when did it really hit you that this film, known as Troll 2, started to get some momentum that you maybe didn't even know existed? What was the defining moment for that?
But, I did not know until about 17 years later, until one day someone called me out of the blue and asked me, hey, George, would you consider, looking at the television tonight? The Troll 2 is on, and I ended up, I ended up watching it that night, and the fellow was doing a radio documentary on it, and he said, why don't you go to IMDb? And I had completely forgot about Troll 2 and watching it, and
Sure.
I was embarrassed by it. I ran from it. Then when I went to IMDb, and that's when I saw that it was the #1 worst film ever made.
Outstanding.
So I went to a party, a screening in Provo, Utah, a couple of days later.
Sure.
And I met some of the cast members, and from that I ended up combining with the son of Troll 2, and that was me. My son was Michael Stevenson, who played Joshua.
Sure.
Why don't we do a documentary around it? And sure enough, yeah, we did. We did a documentary on it.
And after that idea came to fruition, and you started to make all these different appearances, really around North America at different theaters, and I noticed you went to some horror conventions and different types of conventions. Did your outlook on acting in films in general change a lot, or did it stay the same?
Well, I'm not clear about what the outlook on film. Did you say?
Yeah, just acting in general. Did you get, getting a taste of that exposure? Did that really change the outlook you may have had when you were younger and were looking into the idea of acting?
Wow, that is probably one of the best questions I've had asked to me. Because to be honest with you, I don't watch that many movies anymore. I think when I made the documentary, it put me at such a pace that I was multitasking so much, trying to juggle a dental practice and to make a documentary.
Sure.
But to be truly honest with you, I'll tell you, I think I probably have to accept that I'm attention deficit now because I'm always thinking about the next thing, the next project, you know. So to sit down and make me watch a film, although I did watch Shawshank Redemption last week, but for the most part, most movies truly bore me, and I just think, I mean, I went to see The Dark Knight, and most people, oh, it's so fantastic. I just thought, oh, you know, I'm done with the computer graphics and violence, you know.
Sure.
I like the simple things.
Yeah, that's understandable, and I think there's many more people than yourself who feel the same way on that. So that's interesting. You said that it actually, over time you've grown less of an interest in films. Now, when you were growing up, were there any standout movies that you saw and you thought, man, that would be, what a great thing that would be to be able to be an actor? Was there anything in particular that stood out?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question, too. Well, I mean, at a really young age, the most amazing movie for me ever was The Wizard of Oz. I mean,
sure.
Not the acting so much as it is just the fantasy of that and how they did that. Now, that's not computer graphics. It was, but, it's fantastic how they put that together when they did. But, I don't know. I so much enjoy comedy, but I can think of, a lot of the time, I was just watching Tom Hanks act was just amazing. He just was such a natural in a lot of the things that he did, the years that he's acted. I'm trying to think of some of the movies that I saw that really, I always loved the old Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Sure. Oh, yeah. The Vertigo.
Yeah. And then the Bonanza series. I mean, I watched a lot of TV growing up. And I didn't see that many movies. We had a small movie house because I'm from a very small town in Alabama. Still live in that little town. But, the neat thing about it is, I would really enjoy going to see film in the theater, but it would be like vampire movies and science fiction movies with King Kong and,
right.
Godzilla things. I'd be so scared of those. We go to those as a child. Somehow I'm getting close to 60 now, so,
wow.
to remember, yeah, so I'll be 58 this year. Isn't that something?
That
so weird.
Time flies. Time flies. Now, in terms, kind of dovetail this into the theme I mentioned, before we started this interview, as far as literacy goes, what kind of an importance was that to you, growing up? How important was literacy to you growing up and trying to, get into acting and then ultimately get into, the field of dentistry? What did it mean to you?
Well, I'll be honest and tell you, I was not a very good reader growing up, and that's when I mentioned that I like math and sciences more. I enjoyed hands-on, and I was more a visual person and articulate. I think because I wasn't a very good sit-down, concentrating type. I would get bored reading, and like now what I love about the internet is I can just, I'm very fast, and I read through things pretty fast.
Sure.
I like to go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. I think I don't want to spend, a week reading a book and hearing somebody's stories that are repeated over and over again. Sometimes, especially like even now therapy books, they just bore me with story after story.
Yeah.
So, but I just find now that most people now are, exciting their brains with quick things on the internet. I think we all read differently now. Most people do. I just talked to one of my patients the other day that told me that she said that her students really get so bored sitting down and reading for long periods of time. Now they're more, they like the Clips Notes, and they like short bursts of things. A lot of my friends would read all these novels. I can't tell you, I didn't read Moby Dick, and I think I remember reading Uncle Tom's Cabin, and not too many, you know.
Sure.
Didn't spend a whole lot of time reading, you know.
I wonder if
Walked a couple times to Gavin, being in the South.
I wonder if today it might be different for people just because of the advent of smartphones and all the distractions, you know, like with
Exactly.
walking around with an iPhone or something like that.
Oh, yeah, we're all doing 5 things at once now, you know.
Sure. Now, in terms of future projects, I noticed you had a couple of projects listed on IMDb, The Unrainable Compulsion and Ghost Shark 2. Could you tell me a little bit about how you got involved with that?
Wow. Well, Ghost Shark 2, I was in Los Angeles with Michael, and the director of Ghost Shark 2 got in touch with myself and the lead female from The Room and also the lead male actor from Birdemic, and we did a cameo scene.
Great.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, that was a real fun thing. And then recently I just played myself in the most recent. I didn't even know that was on IMDb. That's an Alabama local guy that asked me to be in his film. So I'm doing some cameos, 5 or 6 cameos at a time, you know, a year, which is fun. You know, I just enjoy it. Why not? You know, I mean, I doubt if I'll ever get a big break to be in a big film. I'd love that. It'd be great fun. You know, if I could ever have the opportunity to do something like that, it'd be really cool.
Sure. And is there any word on? I know there was some traction at the time you guys did Best Worst Movie that maybe there was being a Troll 3 that was being written. Is that still out there as a possibility?
We're really trying to make it happen. Rosella and Claudio have it. She's already written the treatment for it, and not the script just yet.
Sure.
But she's got some companies over Europe that are trying to raise the money. It's all about money when it comes down to it. You know,
Right.
if that makes sense. That, you know, to me, when you say somebody's a producer of a film, it's usually all about money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And last question is, you got any advice for young people that want to take the road of trying to get involved with acting or, you know, either big projects, small projects? What would your advice be to them?
I'd say believe in yourself and stay as creative as possible, and just open your arms up to the universe and let it, you know, just be open to being creative in your life. I think that's a real plus to not shut your doors and you know. And my dad once told me, he said, "Son, choose your friends, don't let them choose you." And I thought that was very good advice. In other words, you know, from your heart, you can make really good decisions to choose the right people to be with. And knowing that's one thing that really has helped me is I've been able to meet so many great people along the way. And, you know, here's the one I'm talking to right now, you know. I'm sure you're a great guy, you know, and I think we all can network with each other and learn from each other. And, you know, it's great what the world will give you if you just open up to it.
I appreciate that, George, and more importantly, I appreciate you taking the time to spend time and talk about your background and present and future. It's been great.
Oh, thank you so much.